what church he a member of? Who's his pastor?
Okay.
Tell everybody to go back to church
Paula
all of a
White.
sudden.
Yeah, Paula White. Yeah.
He trying to kill all the black saints. He been trying to kill us since what he said. Well, he was trying to.
All right,
get
guys.
us in church on
Welcome
Easter.
to the Hands Up Radio Show with your boy Trevone Perry. We got all of the people in the building. Well, at least most of them are still here. We got none other than Jabari Johnson. We live on Facebook, y'all. We got Christopher Wynn tonight. Manager extraordinaire. We got it's your boy Jermaine Dolly. We got none other than Ted Winn, who has to unmute his mic. Praise God. We got none other than the legend himself, Lonnie Hunter, with us tonight. The Professor James Hall. And guess what, man? Guess who we snuck out tonight? Keith Wonderboy Johnson in the building. Brothers, what's up, man? How y'all doing, man, in this pandemic? How we making it out, man?
All is well, man. All is well. That is good.
God is good. That's what I love to hear, man. Listen, this segment is called Street Talk. It's a segment that was created the other month by the Hands Up Radio Show, partnered along with myself. We got on with a couple of friends. This is the time that we choose to encourage and uplift others. Listen, I want to know, Ted Winn, how are you handling this pandemic, man? What are you doing to keep Ted Winn fresh right about now?
Actually, I've done a lot of creating, and I've been doing some writing, and because of the business that I'm in on the admin side, most of that's done virtually anyway through computers and just licensing and stuff. So I've been really kind of staying busy and doing some writing and then a little bit of recording. So just doing that and reading, that's helping me keep my head on straight.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. What's going on, Jermaine, Dolly? What we doing, man, to stay fresh in this pandemic right out here?
Nothing.
I just learned. I'm used to like vocal producers and stuff like that, like doing studio sessions for me and all that. So I had to learn how to run my own sessions. We're doing that now, and so a lot of creative has been taking place the last 3 weeks for real. But I've been in the house anyway, so this is cool for me. But everything cool.
All right, man. We got none other than the embodiment himself, man, the legend, Chazz Perry, with us, man. What are you doing, bro, to stay fresh in this pandemic, man?
Man, just working, staying creative, coming up with concepts, and this is just a real creative time for me. And I mean, we've got all the time in the world to plan right now. So what a better time, man, just to stay creative and also prayerful, But this has really been a creative time for me, so I'm excited.
I know it. What are we doing, Keith?
Well, I'm multitasking, man. I'm staying in. I'm learning how to cook certain meals, and Lord has blessed me. Still been working, man. I've been doing parking lot services. we gather in the parking lot services. I bit off a little more I could chew. I did Bishop Stenner Power in Raleigh, and I told them to come on and give them some parking lot praise, and they all got to blowing their horns at one time. I couldn't hear the track. I couldn't hear nothing.
Oh my God.
Some of us grew up together, so my pops. I'm up here saying a special prayer, it's almost impossible to get my pops to stay inside, man. He going out looking for fish sandwiches and trying to find country kitchens, and so I tell him he better stay in High Pond in that house.
Yo, what are we doing live, Hunter?
Me? Were you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, it's a lot going on. We just debuted the show, the TV show, the nighttime talk show on Raymond Television Network and Comcast and Roku. It debuted last night from 7 to 8. So we've been working on that content and trying to make sure that people have something to watch during this pandemic.
Amen. Speaking of that, speaking of the industry, man, Ted, the screens are switching around. Ted, you are known to be a jack of many traits. What is something that you feel that artists should be doing right now to sharpen their tools?
I think that, again, as people kind of alluded to, I think creating right now is a great time to write. It's a great time to do a virtual collaboration. So if you can partner with musicians or producers who can send tracks, you can exchange ideas, because most people aren't moving around, which is very rare for people in the music business who do, who perform. So I think that this is a great time to do that. It's also a great time to educate yourself. I have, I'm doing like my first virtual conference on June 20th, I believe it is, in an effort to educate people about the business. And so I think that's one of the most important things that we can do, is during this time is just create more art, man, and continue to grow as creators.
I love that. James Hall, man. What's going on, bro?
Hey.
You are in the mansion over there, man. How are you doing since we last spoke with you over there, bro?
Well, I'm still social distancing and quarantining, and I'm watching all type of series on TV, and I still am not cooking. I commend all you that can cook. I cannot cook. So I still order food every day and go out and pick up my food and come right back here. And I'm working on, and we're in the midst of working on my project, finishing my project. And so it has given me, it's a little difficult being that we weren't able to really get back in the studio with certain singers and stuff yet. So we are a little delayed, but it is more time to plan and strategically do different things, being that we have this time in between us. So that's all that's going on with me. I'm still live streaming every weekend at the church. And
let's say this. Shout out to James Hall, who just had one of the most fantastic live concerts, virtual concerts, man. Bigs up to you.
Yes.
Worship and praise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
I
job,
appreciate
bro.
it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've seen a lot of lives, and yours by far was one of the best. And I'm not saying that
Oh, yes.
tonight, bro. I gotta be honest.
Thank you.
Bro. And shout out to Jabari, who just
Appreciate it. Thank you.
for the Stellas live on Instagram. I saw that, bro.
Dope.
It was all the way dope.
Yeah,
All the way dope.
Jabari.
yeah.
So
What up?
Yeah.
speaking on that, Christopher Winn, man,
Yes, sir.
being the manager of a Lillian Lloyd and myself and Javis Mays and all these other wonderful clients you have, how do you see things progressing once the pandemic come back? Are you still going to be charging all of those
I'm back.
services for your artists, or what do you see?
I didn't.
You said the pandemic is coming back.
I didn't hear the end of the question.
You let him finish the question, James.
I didn't
No,
hear
you said the pandemic is coming
No, well, they said it's coming back.
back.
It's coming back.
Well, we don't
You said
receive that.
We don't receive that
We don't
tonight.
We want to receive. We gotta be knowledgeable. We can't be so heavily minded that we know earthly good. Chris,
What's the question?
after the pandemic is over,
Right.
what is some things you think are reasonable? How do you feel? Answer the question that I just asked a few minutes ago before we really get.
I didn't hear the end of the question.
My point was, should artists still be charging the same? You as a manager, should artists still be charging the same? Should they still be looking for 20,000? Should they still be looking for 40,000?
I mean, that's like kind of a hard question. I think that it should be like a case by case basis. It's no secret that I think some venues and some churches were hit financially. So, you're not going to be able to, go to them for what you normally ask for. But then two, everybody's not broke. I mean, we've seen that through this pandemic that people are still operating like they already have been. So I think it would more be so like a case by case. But do I think you should charge, 10 and 20 G's like you were doing prior to this? No, I don't think that.
Well, I'm gonna leave that up to
It's about if you can get it.
Well, that too.
I don't know who's
We got
getting
some artists on here, so that too.
It's true.
If you can get it, you can get it.
Yeah.
You can't make them, if you getting it, you get it. You gonna get what you can.
Get it, Doc.
Right. So James, that's why I said it's case by case. You just have to see, what you can do when it
that's
comes.
right.
I don't think that you should lowball yourself before you even have that conversation. No.
Okay. Lonnie Hunter, what do you feel about that?
A lot of times before this pandemic, we were able to do things in large numbers. And one of the industries that's going to be hard pressed to come back in a hurry is what we do, because everything we do is surrounded around large numbers of people, concerts and conferences and all of that kind of stuff. And it's going to take people a minute before they are comfortable being in a church packed up or in a arena packed up around a lot of other people. Much like the tour we were doing with McDonald's, that was 10,000, 15,000 people a while.
Very true.
I don't think people are ready to do that yet. Even churches who have choirs, it's going to be a minute before you're comfortable seeing a full-on choir standing in, in the choir stand.
Right.
So I think it's going to take us a minute to kind of get back to what we would call normal.
Yeah, true.
Dolly, how do you feel we can be innovative in this season of pandemic, and we may not be able to go back to church as usual? What do you see artists being able to do? What is some of your ideas you think, bro, that could help out your other fellow artists?
Me personally, I think that just from seeing like the climate that's out here right now, like people hype to go back outside. Like I get like, people like kind of scared to go be with each other and all that, but here we're in Philly, like they ain't even released the lift yet, and people are like gathering with each other like crazy. And so, I think that I know I hear the talk, like, we might be scared to go back and all that, but I think once somebody say, yo, everything going, people gonna fly back to places and all that. Now, for us, if you want to stay innovative and all that, this is the time right here to think of stuff now. Like, depending on what kind of artist you are, like everybody are different artists, and like, so, some people are not doing certain stuff. So depending on what kind of artist you are and what's your audience, cater to your audience and like this is the time right now to brainstorm. This is like your quiet time. Like, if you didn't brainstorm your situation right now, like by the time comes, you're gonna be too late. So this is the time right now to actually just sit down and think about cater to your audience or whatever case may be. Like, this is your time right now.
Thank you. Jabbar, you want to jump in?
Nah.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr.
with Dolly.
Shout out to Mr. Salters on the live. I just want to tell you this real quick. Shout out to Mr. Salters. He gave all of you guys love. He said all of the greats in one room. So shout out to him and all of the greats that's in one room right now. Appreciate you, brother. Listen, you wanted to say something, Jabari, or not? You serious?
No, I'm good. I was gonna say the same thing Dolly said. If you're not planning right now, then when the time comes, then hey, I don't want to hear that. Period. That's it.
All right. Business-wise, it's important. I'm finding out now more than ever how important it is to make sure things are set up in a business way. Facebook has a new thing now. When people watch your live, now they can give directly to you. They can pay. Y'all, everybody knew that. That's so. Ted, this is your field right here, bro. What marketing wise, publishing wise, what are some things artists can do to keep residual coming in during this time?
I think that people can stream and can create original content, and I want to kind of speak a little bit to what we were just talking about. I think what Jermaine was saying is spot on, but I think that we have to really all reimagine what's possible. I'm not a person who believes that when the vaccine happens or things are changed, that everybody's going to run back and have these large groups and these large numbers again. And even if they do, if we are in a position now to curate something different, I think that's what we should really be thinking about. Like, how can what Kiara's doing, I think, is amazing. She's doing a virtual tour. She's selling tickets for this tour, but people don't have to leave their home. And I think, they say it takes 21 days to establish a habit. So I think as art creators, as content providers, if we all start to think about ways that we can speak to, sing to, entertain our captive audiences, that's what we really should be thinking about, as opposed to waiting to go back to what was 2019. Because I just don't know if it's going to be like it was, at least not anytime soon.
That's a harsh reality.
Yeah, it is.
and what you want to make me go here with this? Keith Wonderboy Johnson, man, your field is a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's all gospel, but it's a little bit different. Can you explain I don't care what it is. I think me and James, some time ago, we was driving past, we was on Broadway in Brooklyn somewhere, and it was a quartet concert. Remember that place was packed to all the way outside?
Yeah. Right.
That draws, what is up with that quartet sound, that community of the quartet? What do you feel is different about it?
Yeah. Yeah, you have, it's basically a lot of cities that's like that. New York, Chicago, Detroit, certain parts of North Carolina. I don't care. It's somewhere, it's a quartet show going on. And I always crack jokes. I don't care if we throw one on a move, it's gonna be certain people that's still gonna be there. And then they still, you know, it's still a question mark, man, on how comfortable are people gonna be of gathering in masses, you know. I don't know if you have to start doing, you know, sometimes if you remember, sometimes when they use a big venue, they have them already sectioned off anyway. So it'd be a whole section of that building, that auditorium or that big church that they're not using. So maybe you're gonna have to start giving assigned seats, like you gotta sit every other seat or something like that. But it's gonna have to be creative, because I agree with Ted. I don't see it going back to what we were doing the earlier part of this year. I believe it's gonna be a minute before we go back to that.
Yeah, y'all sweat a lot at quartet concerts.
Yo, listen. With that being said, I want to go back a little bit. We speaking about brands now, and you know all of these things that bring you notoriety and monies to your pocket. But it was a start. I want to speak to somebody who I know personally and watched him start and build himself. What does it take, bro, to build that brand, Charles Perry? What is that like, man, building that brand to become who God has created you to be? Thank you, Chazz, for joining us.
Hey, yo.
I think knowing the climate of your audience and knowing the pulse of your audience, I think if you figure out something that's great and something that they love, they're gonna keep coming back. It's like any chef. We went to Junior's years ago because we loved the cheesecake and we loved them burgers, so we kept coming back. The formula was important, and I think everybody in the world has an audience. I don't care if your audience is 15,000 or 1,500. You have an audience. It's just giving them what they want and then perfecting it. That's another thing. As you develop that art, it's perfecting that art. And this is I'm just a masterclass alone. Weirdly, I have not slowed down at all during this pandemic. Weirdly, we've been able, by the grace of God, to be consistent. I'm in Atlanta next week and it's already sold out. So I just think knowing what your audience wants, because listen, people sneaking out, the shopping malls are packed. So if we go get us something to eat, I'm just saying, y'all, we sneaking to go get something to eat, and we standing online at ShopRite. We going wall to wall at ShopRite. So I just feel like, man, of course we do the things that, we're gonna be safe and stuff like that and wear masks. But I think it's important, man, to know the climate of each audience that you're dealing with. And as long as you know that, you'll always be effective. That's what kept a lot of these legends, the Ella Fitzgeralds and the Sam Cooks, these guys out there so long. They knew what the audience wanted, and they gave them consistency and accuracy at that, and perfecting it as you do it. You just can't do something and not perfect it. I think this is the time for all artists. Let me just say this: to get perfected. Study to show thyself approved. If you got a brand, work on it. That's gonna keep you out there. Work on your craft. I can't stress that enough. Coming up, man, we work. So working at it, man, and just knowing the tempo, of that audience, man, knowing what they want, the temperature, that's important.
I feel you, man. Shout out to Sean Gibbs tonight. He said this is a great group of gospel collectives. Keep the culture moving. I like that. Shout out to Sean Gibbs. Listen, we have another legend in the building with us, the Chazz Shepherd. You know,
Oh, did he say legend first? Oh my!
legend.
I don't know if I'm perfected enough to be a legend yet.
Perfected enough. Chazz, bro, from television to music, from all the different lanes, from doing Set It Off to Moesha, from everything you did, bro, how did you even know you were in the right lane? To someone who's maybe watching and listening right now, how did you even know when you're in the right lane?
It's internal. It's internal. It's divine. I am connected with and operating in my talent. I'm operating in what God did. So I feel that and I trust it. So I'm not out looking for, I'm not looking for purpose. I'm not looking for who I am. I'm not looking for those things. The reason I know I'm in the right lane is because I'm already in touch with who I am and what I am. I'm in touch with my talent, my gift, as we may put it. Some people may, I use the word talent because I think it's most appropriate, but also it's synonymous with the word gift. I also agree with Brother Steve Harvey, who says, don't follow your passion, follow your gift. He related it to the Bible. For your gift will make room for you, not necessarily a passion. Ideally, you want your passion to be tied with your gift. And so being that I am in touch with myself and my gifts, I already know that I'm in that lane because that's the lane I want to be in. I'm specifically in that lane. I'm purposefully in the lane of my gifts. Also, I was guided all the way through by my mother. She was the greatest before she died. She had already imparted the great lessons. Her leadership was just paramount, significant, and now very effective. So I did have that on my behalf, someone to teach me to have relationship for myself with God and to be in tune with self, accepting myself. I grew up loving myself. I believed me before I believed everybody else. So they didn't have much room to discourage me or to make me feel any less than. Mm-hmm. So I've always felt that I was in line with what I was and what was in me, versus having to find that from less fortunate situations and ways of growing up. I always had that. And that's why good parenting is so important, because I was not derailed and then had to find my way back to my soul.
Dope. That's deep. That's deep. Don't y'all, was that deep, y'all? That was just as deep.
Often time.
But tapping right into that, I believe absolutely nobody makes it on their own. Everybody has a collective of people behind them or someone that believes in them and pushes them. How important is team building to your success, Lonnie Hunter?
Team building is key, man, because like you said, if you are where you are and you got there by yourself, that is where you're going to stay. Yeah.
Say that again. Sorry.
Right.
Where you are, and that's where you're going, and you got there on your own, that's where you're going to stay. Right. You have got to have somebody else in your corner because you can't see everything at every time. So if you're on stage and you've got somebody who can see the room, or it's got somebody who can tell when something is happening in the background, or if your money's not right, you got to have people with you that free you up to do what your gift is, and you can do it freely, not having to worry about every other thing before you hit the stage and then every other thing after you come off the stage. But that team building thing has everything to do with how you treat that team. A team cannot build if you are taking advantage of it. So if your turnover in your team is quite often, you have to really kind of look at your leadership skills, because people will stay with people who treat them right. So team building is everything. And once it's built, it should be able to stay. The only time somebody should leave your team is in an effort to go further than where you are, or go higher in what they do.
So it is okay. It is okay to bounce on your day one if it's for an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's all right. That's key. What do we feel? Some may call it opportunist. What do we feel about opportunist?
Wait a minute. Chazz, if you don't mute that phone,
Chazz,
You gotta mute your phone.
playing in your car, your seatbelt going off.
Right.
You don't get your car together.
Yeah.
You're killing us on the
Everything
show.
is
You're
double
killing
parked
us.
and all of that.
His
It was
button
quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet when you were talking, and now it's like noise.
I didn't know.
oh God.
I think you did.
I thought I was muted.
No, dog.
I did not expect y'all to hear the hooker in the back. I'm so sorry.
Lonnie was over there talking, and I kept saying, "What is going on?" I hear Lonnie, but I hear all this extra noise. Lonnie, I enjoy what you said, even though it was you had background music.
I'm so sorry, Lonnie.
Chad,
But
Chad,
I
this
heard
is what I want you to do.
Lonnie. I'm gonna let you know that I heard you.
Lonnie's giving me instruction.
Hold on,
Chad,
shout
this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this, Chad, real quick.
Yeah.
Go past the mute button and just hit end. You're not doing this right.
Lonnie, said what he had to say anyway.
Right.
He told us what he had to say anyway.
Okay. All right. Now that we got that out the way, shout out to none other than D. Stan Jones of E1, who was just here a few moments ago. He said, "Hey, everybody." Shout out to him. He's in the chat. But speaking of that, James Hall, what do you feel about, we call it in I believe in the church, opportunists who leave for better opportunities. What's your stance on that, bro? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, if you leave me for a better opportunity, go for it. Go for it. I hope you be successful.
Okay.
But I mean, what can I say? I mean, they're everywhere. Opportunities are everywhere. And sometimes you can't spot them in the beginning, you know. So
it's important. It's important that we understand that those are two different things. Somebody leaving for an opportunity is not necessarily an opportunity.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's true. Right. That's so true.
Clear that ear. Amen. I like that. Listen, staying right in that vein right there. How important, you know, I believe this is a great collective. You got Jabari, you got Lonnie, you got Jermaine, and you got Keith, and you got Ted. None of you guys remind me of one another. Ted Winn. Yeah. You got none of you guys, Charlie. None of you guys sound alike. How important is it to find a sound and to stick with that, Ted? How important is that for you, bro?
Well, I think I was influenced a lot by, music in the 80s. And that was the thing I think that really made it significant for me, is that everybody was standing out. I remember watching a clip of the Grammy Awards when they used to have gospel on TV.
Yeah.
And it was the best female gospel artist. And the nominees were Albertina Walker, Shirley Caesar, Jermaine Hawkins, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, and Sandra Crouch. And the thing that really resonated with me was each of them is a very different type of creative. Even if you talk about people on this call, what Lonnie does is different than what James does. Like when those groups came out, like James Hall and his choir was not Hez, was not Donald, was not Ricky, and everybody had their thing. Even with Keith doing what he does, he's a very distinct sound in the presentation that he brings. So I think uniqueness is what people gravitate to, right? Nobody really cares about a carbon copy. And one of the other things I want to say, I do have to jump off, but I want to say this before I go. I think one of the things we talked about earlier that's so important is, I've been saying for a long time, what I think artists really have to do, especially now, is you have to really be committed to developing your own fan base. And what we have done, many of us in terms of our careers, have performed at events, right? So it's a men's conference, it's a pastor's anniversary, it's a whatever. And so people are coming to the event that you happen to be at. But when we have something like this, where it's a pandemic and there are no events, if you've not developed a fan base, then you're kind of sitting at home looking at the walls. If you have developed a fan base with which you continue to interact, then it doesn't matter if events come or go, you'll still have that. I think one of the other guys alluded to that earlier. You will still have that fan base that you can, do things with and engage. And so I think one of the things that we should really think about, not just in this moment, but as we move forward, is how we can do things to develop our own kind of base. So if you go to a city, everybody loves singing in front of 5,000 people, 10,000 people, right? But I personally, I'm happy if it's 300 people who paid to see me, right? Because that means that's how I also understand my commercial value. And he doesn't do gospel per se, but I watched over the last 10 years as PJ Morton built a fan base. And so I think that we have to rethink that. We have to recalibrate how we think about that in terms of what we're doing, so that, and James was in the industry before I was. And so he definitely remembers, like, people, you did concert, you had like church stuff, but people came to concerts to see. Yeah, I remember they did the New York connection in DC. It was. You
remember
James
that?
Yeah, it was James.
That's right.
I think that we have to get back to developing our own rapport with our audiences, so that, again, we're not necessarily waiting on somebody to call us or waiting on the next event before we're able to do what it is that we do.
Right.
I love that. Jabari, are you there? Okay. I'm glad you muted your phone. I see you doing a lot over there. How important?
I'm just preparing my food from Uber Eats just arrived, so.
Praise God.
Yeah.
I need some right now. They always get your order wrong. But shout out to Jabari Johnson right now. What is the difference between impact and just making noise? How important?
Say it again, you was breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. How important is it to you, bro, the difference between impact and just making noise? What does that mean to
you? You always want to be, how can I say this? I'm trying to put my words right so I don't be like mean, because you know how the last one went.
Bro, just say what you're going to say. You said it last time. Just say what you're going to say.
What? I'm just being for real. Impact means that people just going to always gravitate to what you're doing, man. If you make an impact, that means that you making noise, but you're making the right kind of noise. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But some people just get out here and just be doing stuff for no reason at all. You can tell that they're operating outside of their purpose. That's when it sounds like you're just doing nothing but making noise. But if you, like I said, if you doing impact, if you're making an impact, bro, people are gonna gravitate to what you're doing, and you're gonna see the fruit of your labor. That's it.
Dolly, how do you know you're making an impact?
People will tell you. They'll tell you. You know what I mean? Social media keep me abreast on everything. I mean, I live by social media. So, not even social media, but like even at shows or whatever, like the people will tell you. Like they let you know if you're making an impact in their life, whether your song is, or, you know what I mean? I get DMs and like people just tell me like, this is really, really, this song right here touching me. So like the question was, like, XM was, what's in between impact and making noise, right? So you can have a song, right? You got some people that got songs. I ain't gonna say, people got songs out, right? Some people got songs out and, you can see the charts and stuff like that, whatever case may be, right? Like I got 1 million streams and right? Whatever case may be. And then, but you will see nobody comment on a picture or something like that, right? You can see that, right? That's just making noise, right? But if you see somebody that nobody may not know of, or whatever the case may be, and everybody's like, yo, I'm haven't seen this on this song, this for me, this song, that for me, thank you, that's like making an impact. So the people was always telling you, like, they always gonna keep you abrupt, like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes like people just going out here to just putting out music, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it's real saturated with a lot of music, but a lot of people sound the same. And the reason why a lot of people sound the same is because, the industry is telling people like, yo, your creativity is not working, or this won't fit our format, or this won't do this and this won't do that. So you got a lot of creators here to the point where it's like, they're trying to get in. Everybody's trying to get into this small window. Everybody's trying to get into this small window. So since you're trying to get in the window, they tell you that your creativity is not for our format, so where they changed it to fit the sound that is the popular sound right now. So now it just seems like, especially in our generation, that everybody, I talk a lot of old heads, they said like, yo, like this generation, we don't really like it because everybody sound the same. We lost our own sound. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it's all because people are just trying to get in. You know what I mean? And it's kind of hard to get in because, like, you know, they're not accepting anything like that no more. So you hear a lot of noise now because everybody's just trying to get in.
So we talking about gatekeepers now.
Real talk.
We are.
We are.
When we started talking about gatekeepers.
That's basically. Are you not listening, bro?
You know, Trevone, you sound like a musician who insists on playing an A flat when the preacher is in B.
Y'all didn't just catch what my man just said. Small window. There's only room for enough people to be in that vein. Why is that, Phil, James Hall? It's only a small thing for some certain people to have that lane, and they lock that up and they dominate.
Somebody got to mute their phone.
Keith. Keith, you gotta mute your phone.
Me?
Me? Who is
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Sounds like somebody getting ice.
Right.
Yeah, somebody was getting ice. I think somebody was dropping some water somewhere. I don't know. It was like drip.
Somebody putting alka-seltz in a cup.
I heard drip.
Whoever's putting alka-seltz in your cup, just mute your phone. You know who you are. Whoever's taking gas.
That is hilarious.
Whoever's taking gas. Listen. Whoever's using gas X, you know who you are.
Is that somebody with a chicken feet? Okay, I can't do this. Anyway, James Hall, what is this?
Okay, now what is your question?
That's crab legs. But anyway, moving on, gatekeepers. There's only a small vein and lane for certain people, and certain people dominate it, and they sit there and they don't move over. What is up with that? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that because gatekeepers. So you're saying that they're blocking? What are you saying?
Gatekeepers, you can't go to a certain level unless you go through their door.
That ain't true.
Is that who said it ain't true?
Me.
All right. Why is it not true? Speak.
Because, man, you can't stop. One, if we're gonna be churchy, you can't stop what God has for me. That's one. Two, you can't stop people from following me or for people from coming to my event just because you did it before me. That don't mean nothing. If I'm dope and people like what I'm doing, they gonna gravitate to what I'm doing. That's period. And I don't believe in that gatekeeper stuff. I
feel all that. That sounds real great. I feel all that, right? I feel all that. But the reality of the situation is it's a lot of dope people out here. It's a plenty dope people out here. Like, Jabari, I get you. I feel you, right? What God got for you, what God has for you, right? I use myself as an example, right? I had to go through so many roads. Like, it was plain. It was straight. It was straight for me, like straight. But it was so many turns and boom, boom, boom. Well, I know that it made me stronger who I am. It made me realize that I got to get back in my prayer life, and I got to get my word more, and like to keep me sturdy. But if it wasn't for that, I'd have been quit doing this. I'd have been quit. Like, I promise y'all that if it wasn't for me knowing what my assignment was in this whole thing, if it wasn't for me knowing that, I would have been quit. Because if you're not in tune with what your assignment is with this whole industry, this whole situation, if you're not in tune with that, if you just really focus just on like the industry, I want to get number one, I want to sell records, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. If you just focus on that, you're going to quit, or you're going to start singing sexy music. Like this, like that's going to be the bottom line. Like, for real. Like, and we see it. We've seen it.
What you mean? I know what you mean. I get it.
We've seen it. Like, I download people music all day long. I download people music all day. It's some dope gospel artists, some really, really dope people out here.
Truly.
Dolly,
really dope.
Let me interject. I agree with you. There's a lot of dope people, but and we wonder why. What's the difference between this one and that one? Now, without naming anybody, why could this person be in this seat, but this person is not when they're just as dope? You know what I have to say to that? it's important to know the business you're in too. You should know the lane in which you chose and understand that there's a business side. How important do you feel it is to know the business side of this venture as well, Lonnie?
Your dopeness is what's second nature to you. That's your talent. That's your dopeness. You shouldn't have to worry about that. What you should worry about is where are you taking this and how do you get to where you want to go? Everybody has a lane, true enough, but the way that lane travels is different for everybody. So if you want to get to a certain end, you got to know that my travel won't look like that travel. So I can't get disappointed when I feel like I am not getting what everybody else is getting. I got to figure out why I'm not getting it and then shift to a way that it comes to me. There's a way that you can, just like the question that was asked a few minutes ago, the difference between impact and making noise. Impact lasts. Making noise is temporary. So just like you go to church and they sing the greatest songs and everybody's up on their feet, if nobody can remember that song or what that song did the next day, all you did was make noise. There's a lot of churches making noise every Sunday because come Monday, nobody remembers what happened on Sunday. If you make an impact, I'm telling you that impact will make room for you, not just your gift, but your impact, because people will consistently look for what you bring to the table. So when you talk about being dope, your voice or whatever your primary gift is, that thing should be second nature. Your study should be what brought you to that place and what's going to take you further than that place.
Hey, can I jump right in on that too? Because I have something for that.
Go ahead, Chazz, go ahead.
I think that it is also
Who's
it's not.
Put your seatbelt on.
Oh no, I'm parking right now so I can shut it up. I'm parking right now. So I think that the answer to that is multifaceted. It's not just a black and white answer as to why there are so many dope artists, and some would even say even some doper than what we hear now. It's just a multifaceted answer. One is this simple word they call laziness. I think that a lot of dope people are too busy being dope. I think that a lot of talented people, the issue is that they're too busy being talented. When I say that, I mean, there is sometimes a sense of entitlement that comes with being good. And I think that a lot of times people are so talented that they feel that they deserve, which really means work for, they think that they deserve for somebody to choose them. They think that they're so dope that they automatically will be chosen or discovered. So they don't put the work in that it takes for that process to happen because they're too busy just sitting there being talented saying, well, I'm so good, so I'm expecting that it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. What they don't know is how important a great work ethic is, and that somebody who may not be as dope is way further because they have a work ethic that the so-called so talented or dope person may not have. And so I have sat with somebody who we all just feel is like just top of her game, incredible vocalist, all of that stuff. And we were looking at the Grammys and she was saying that, you know, oh, if I just had, 5 minutes up there, and she was kind of critiquing who was up there. But the thing is, the work ethic of who was up there would outdo her work ethic any day. So it's a combination of laziness, not studying, as Charles talked about earlier, and Lonnie was just saying, studying the business to know what the business is, basically being on point. There's that, and then there's what you said, the gatekeepers. So yeah, there are gatekeepers. It's a combination. So it's not a black and white. The question is, what is your issue? Like if you're a dope person and you're not where you want to be, what is it that's in your way? Is it a gatekeeper or is it you?
Good. That's good. Vincent Bohannon is on. Shout out to
Trevone.
He just asked the question. I'm gonna let you jump in. He said connections. Vincent asked that question again. He said connections. I guess he means you have to have connections in order to move to the next level. Doesn't that tie back into what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Certain people to stamp their approval on you. In some cases, before you move, go ahead, Keith.
Well, it's all believe it or not, what's the coincidence? It's really all of that is tied together. What Chazz just said, what Lonnie just said, what Ted was saying. It's like a combination of all those things. And especially like for the new artists, the new dope artists, they don't realize that you need all of that to actually be successful. You got to be original and dope in your own, but you got to have the connections, which is relationships. And then you got to go through the gatekeep. You got to go through. Like a lot of us came up together. Huh?
Who are these gatekeepers?
For example, we all came up together. Like we all came up together. Like me, you, Charlie, James. It's just like what we doing. You gotta go through Bishop Jameson. You gotta go through Timothy Wright. You gotta go through Eric Figueroa. There's certain names in New York.
I got what you're saying.
You gotta go through them. Now, agreeing with what Jermaine said, it started. I just happened to be at that point when I started. Of course, y'all know I started when I was 5 years old. But when the tide changed, I was with an independent label. And every label, major label that was out there, I got rejected by them. But I got a good song. A lot of times they forget about the music. They forget that we singing gospel music. You can have the right manager, the right producer, but if you ain't got the right song, it's still invalid. Because we singing gospel music.
You about to make me touch it because that's crazy. I was going there next. How important is it to have that good song, Jabari Johnson? Are you still with us, Jabari Johnson? Where you at?
I'm here.
You over there eating them onion rings still? How important is it to have the right song?
Oh, very important. You ain't got nothing to listen to if you ain't got the right song. Period. Like you take Dolly. Dolly had banging, and everywhere he go, we want to hear you. And the right song. You take Keith with Send a Revival, Churchy All Day. Well, you can go all the way back to Thank You with the purple suits and Heze on guitar. If you want I'm talking about side to side. You gotta have the right. That's just bottom line. You gotta have the right song for people to rock with you, man. Like, and some people are like one-hit wonders, but they still had the right song for the right time. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Vince Bohannon, who has another question. He rephrased that. He said, "What happens when the gatekeepers won't give up the gate?" LOL. Anybody want to take that?
Okay.
And that's what
you create your own game.
It's a different.
You create your own game. You create your own game.
Listen, check me out. I feel you. I did I'm taking me out because that sounds self-serving.
But I know, but
no.
I'm with you, bro.
Testify, Dolly.
Right? It's a different climate now. It's a total. Back in the day,
I got you.
Back in the day, right? It was, say for instance, it was a choir. It was a choir, right? And somebody in the front. Donald Lawrence, Tri-City Singers, John P. Key, and New Life, Hezekiah Walker, Love Fellowship, like Richard Smallwood, Vision. So so they all look the same, but they all sound different. Everybody ate, right?
Right.
You got, you got Yolanda Adams, you got Vicky Winans, you got all of them, right? They all look the same, but they sound different, right? So diversity was the thing. That was the thing, right? In this new age right here, right? This new age, you don't sound, if you don't have the sound of like the CCM sound, just calling it what it is. If you don't have that sound,
or play it,
will take you a longer way. The gate will be closed on you. And you got to go around the. That's just a fact. Like you got to go around that. You got to go around this person. You got to go around the people that get in the gate. And then if you do get past that gate, you got people that hold that gate that will try to block you some more. Don't ask me how I know. This whole climate
what you go through.
And this climate has changed. Like the climate now has.
You think it's changed, bro? It's been like that for years.
It's been like that.
It's like
this ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new.
Yes, bro.
I can only give you an example. Now, remember I just say all of it plays together. Now it goes on to what Ted said of building your own fan base, a true fan base. So when those gatekeepers don't want to give up a gate, You go
Right.
and you now where the work habit come in, you go
Right.
to work and you fill up.
Exactly.
I can use myself. And for example, when I came out nationally, 1998, none of the big promoters would book me. So what I did, we went on the road. Myself and
There
a
you go.
tall man, Lee Williams. We went on the show. We
Yes,
went
sir.
Yes,
major
sir.
city after
Oh,
major
Stanfield.
city, just us two. Just us two. They wouldn't put us on the show with the Clouds, anybody else. So next thing you know, it started building. When you founded that building, and I remember one of the gatekeepers, the late great Timothy Wright. We was in Louisiana. He looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Hey man, I'm out here working. I'm trying to build my fan base." And then after a while, it keeps building on. So you can't you have to be humble and respect those gatekeepers. But sometimes you got to go ahead and go on around them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been in situations where I was slighted for different things, and I'll find out that somebody blocked it from me getting in there. They
Somebody's
don't know I know.
Sorry, go ahead. Somebody's sound. I hear.
It's probably somebody's eating again.
That ain't me.
One of the gatekeepers.
I'm just standing still.
It's one of the gatekeepers. One of the gatekeepers got on this store going live trying to
It's those gatekeepers. They still doing it.
me up. Trying to buy me up. I'm gonna testify.
Right. Testify, Jay. Go ahead.
Testify, James.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
I know what Dolly talking about. I've been there.
But you know what, Trevone? Let me tell you something. Sometimes the gatekeepers will try to stop you, but it goes back to what you fellas was talking about when you said sound versus impact. Impact creates the difference.
Yeah.
And if you keep going, you build you a gate.
Yeah.
We've been on plenty of programs with worship and praise, and I was a wonder boy. Keith's father, Phil Johnson, who was a legend, gave me an opportunity to sing my first show with the Wonder Boys. We open up with the Mighty Clouds of Joy and the gospel keynotes in Long Island. And Phil told me, you go until you see the difference. And let me tell you young people something. It's called process. It's called process. And without it, there is no skipping process. And I'm gonna tell some of the rest of y'all this. Sometimes it's not that you're not talented. Sometimes it's just not your time. And when it's not your time,
yes, sir,
you have to be okay with God's anointed time clock. Because I've learned an anointed no will keep you in the business and give you a greater impact later. And I'm going to use the example of worship and praise, singing with worship and praise. One thing we have, and that's to this day, and I don't care where we at, I don't care how long we ain't sang together, we've got staying power. And when we sing, we still do just that. We sing. All these years later, there were plenty of people that tried to stop us. And James is on this line to give witness to everything I say. They tried to close doors, but what I've learned is you can't stop. You can't stop God's chosen. You can't.
That's it.
If you got the sound, keep going. I don't know who I'm talking to tonight. But you've got the sound. No matter who tries to stop you, it's important that because listen, no means backwards means on. That means you on. So I don't care how many anointed no's I got.
Come on, preacher.
Listen, I've got so many no's that I can't remember, but it led me to Walt Disney. It led me to David Foster. It led me to Michael Jackson. So I thank God for every no I got. I thank God for every gate that got slammed in my face. And I thank God for my process. People, embrace your process.
That's the
embrace your process. That, and let me tell you something, young people, artists watching, that is what will help you become the world's greatest artist. There is no artistry without story. So if you don't have a story, how are you writing a hit album? You can't write an album if you ain't lived life.
Right.
You can't. So there is no skipping process. I just want to say that, and I love y'all. I love y'all.
Yes, yes.
I thank you for that music, Chazz. I needed some help tonight. Yes, sir.
Hey, my. Yes, sir.
You can't shut down who's assigned to greatness.
I want to say this real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because we have 2 choir masters in here tonight. Ricky Dillard isn't the only one. But we have 2 more choir masters in here. Lonnie.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Somebody said, "Will the choir sound ever come back?" I guess, and then someone else commented and said the choirs are almost extinct. What do y'all think?
Not true.
Not true. It ain't never go nowhere.
It ain't go nowhere.
The first person that asked the question is Nathan Daniels, and then another young lady said choirs are almost extinct.
Not true.
I don't know that's not true, because all you gotta do is turn on a movie, and if there's a church scene, what you gonna see in that church scene?
Choir.
Is a difference between
every award ceremony you see.
The choir.
There's a difference between a choir and a good choir.
Yes, sir.
That's the difference. There's a difference between a choir and a good choir.
You watch yourself. Watch yourself.
That's a whole nother thing.
To me, the choir sound.
Choirs are here to stay.
Yeah, the choir sound is just like, traditional and quartet. There's a difference between like the same way you have good choirs. All choirs ain't good. So that's true. Right. It's time for a good choir. If they felt the choir sound has died, okay, no. Lonnie, James, Ricky, Head, none of them ain't going nowhere. It's just it's time for another good choir to come out. That's what it is.
True.
The only thing that has changed regarding choirs is the economics of a choir.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's it.
They're still strong where they are. They will never go anywhere. People do what they have to do. What that choir sound is always synonymous with gospel music. The thing is, people in this day and time cannot travel a choir like they used to.
That's right. That's
so
what
when choirs now have the choir name, but you see them on the road and there's only 9 singers behind them. It's not because they cut it down and now they're a group. It's because they have cut down because of what the promoters can do, so that you can get there. But once you turn on that track, or the band starts and them 9 singers are singing, they sing in choir music. It's just that the look of it is different on the road, but that choir is still 30, 40, 50 people when they come back together.
I agree. Just to answer, because we're also taking questions in the chat right now, which it's going so fast. So I'm sorry, guys, if I don't get to your questions, please forgive me. Just put it up there more than once. Going back to Carrie Jackson, she said, but not at my church. She said, not the way it used to be anyway. Most groups, she said that's her experience. So I guess I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I get that. Why?
I mean, back in the day, they used to have those group deals. You could fly 20, 25 people, 30 people. Those days are gone from us. So people are not bringing 25, 30 choir members to an event. Unless that budget is really nice. But for the most part, that's not happening.
Well, that's totally understandable, and I get that. So how do you, we're not even gonna get into that, because I was just getting ready to go somewhere else with this. But the whole
you was about to go to where it really is. That's what it is.
Say it.
No, but you need to go there. Because you helping somebody tonight.
We got to move on. I'm moving church. I want to move church along. But what I will say is, how do you pick who goes on what trips? I already know as a leader, but what's your process for who goes on trips with you, artists? Are you picking by who's faithful? Are you picking by who's capable? What are we picking by?
All the above.
Right.
One of the things for choirs who are recording choirs and not church choirs, see, that's 2 different dynamics.
Yeah.
Choirs who are recording choirs can audition, and they know what they have, and the people who are there are there. Church choirs, on the other hand, many times are whosoever will let them come. So that's when you get into the who's faithful, who's not faithful, because they have choices. When you
Mhm.
have a choir that is connected to that group sound and connected to that brand, then the only thing that's happening is really who's available to go when I have to cut down to 9, because all of us can sing. So it's not like I'm worried about who's going to be standing in the mic, because I've auditioned all these people and I know whoever goes can go. It comes down to who's available at that time to make this gig happen. For professionals. Now, church choirs and all of that, or choirs that aren't, sometimes they have to, say, well, who's going to sound good while they're standing in the mic, as opposed to standing in the back of the alto section. That's two different dynamics.
Yeah, and sometimes it also deals with who has been there more as well, because my singers love to go. They be like, "What we going?" And I'd be like, "Okay, so let me see how." So when you have to pick, sometimes I have to pick who's been there, because sometimes we got people that sing in choirs that are artists. We have people that sing in choirs that also do professional background for secular artists or whoever. So, sometimes they can't be with you all the time. So when you get those engagements and they've been on the road with other people, you have to pick who's been with you more, to be, the more faithful.
I like that. These are some good. This is good. There's so many questions. And like I said, guys, just repeat your question, because one and didn't just disappear. But moving into that, I hope that sums it up for you people that's trying to kill choirs off. They're not dead. We're still here. I still love me a good choir beat every now and again. I listen to all kinds of music. With that being said, how important is it to be well-rounded in this season and keep your musical ear open? What do you think about that, Chris? Winn?
Well, for me, I listen to all types of music. Of course, I like choir music, since we're talking about that. But I think it's very important to be well-rounded right now, especially we have the time to be able to listen to everything. So I think it's important to be well-rounded in music.
Okay. Jabari, what goes into creating a hit for you, bro? A hit song?
I like I said, I told my homeboy this earlier. I don't sit down and just write like, I gotta write a song today. I want this to be a hit. I could be driving in my car, man, on a road trip back to Houston to see my mom or something, and I turn all the music off in the car, and I start singing. And if something comes, then it comes. And then if I like it, I'll write a verse to it, and that's it. That's the same way, like what Charles said earlier. You can't write a record without a story. Period. I'm ready to kill myself when I wrote "Have Your Way."
Wow.
Wow.
And Fixed Fight was I wrote Fixed Fight when I was in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I had torn my Achilles. I couldn't walk for 3 months.
I remember.
Yeah, so it's just like that's what goes into it. It's just like I don't just sit down and just be like, yo, I gotta write something that's dope. If it come, I ask God to give me songs to write, and that's what He do. That's it.
Yeah.
Jermaine, Dolly, why do you? I'm gonna go off what I really love. That song blesses me tremendously. What that for you, bro? The whole record. I just love the whole vibe.
Like the bar said, like and Charles said, you gotta have a story. So, I was singing with Ty at the time. Like, all my songs, like my writing process, I probably write like every 6 months. Cause if I don't hear nothing from God, I don't write nothing. I don't know how people just wake up and just write a song. Like that's talent. That is talent. Like hear from him and write it down. Cool. So I was singing with Ty and I had a melody in my head or whatever. And I know it was dun 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 dun. I knew I wanted to do that, but I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. So I was home one time. I stopped singing with Ty and I was just home. And one of my homeboys had hit me up. He's a director of movies and the producer of movies. And he outside looking in, like looking at his life, he was like well off. He was getting all this money. He was popular in the city. So, he looked like his life was like really, really good. So he called me. He was like, yo, I want to talk to you about something. So I'm thinking he won't put me in a movie because I do comedy on Instagram. So I'm like, all right, well, let's get this money. Like, pull up. Like, you know what I mean? So he came over to my house, and the first thing he said to me was, Jermaine, my life messed up. I was like, you? He was like, yeah, my life messed up. So the first thing he asked me was, why are you always happy and never down? And so we had a 2-hour conversation about Jesus Christ. And I went upstairs in my room, and people always ask me, why am I always so happy and never down? And so forth and so on. And so that's how the song came about. And so when I got to, there's so much that I can say about the man I'm referring to, like, Donna, 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 all the praise belongs to you, right? So I didn't know what to put right there. But going back earlier, how we say we got to be in tune with Christ and read our word and pray. Christ talked to me. He said, put Jesus there 4 times and loop it 1,000,000 times at the end. You know what I'm saying? If you do something in repetition, it becomes brainwashed. If somebody hears something 21 times, I think, or 15 times, they hear it 21 or 15 times, it becomes a brainwash. So that's why I should have called it the Jesus song, because everybody called it the Jesus song. So like they kept hearing Jesus, 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 Jesus. It was on that time. So that's how that song came about. That's how like mainly all my songs come about. If I have conversation, like coming knock on our door, that came.
That was my joint too.
Came from a conversation of where, like, I'm in the streets all the time. Like I'm saved, but I still, my homeboys on block and all, I'm still cool with them too. So when the success of You came about, everybody was intrigued about Jesus Christ. Like my homeboys in the hood, right? So they wanted to talk to me like, well, we see how you changed. Let's talk about, I'm inquiring to know about Jesus Christ. Let's talk then. So we'll have like a conversation about Jesus Christ and all that. And then I say, well, find a church home. Like find a church home, you get spiritually fed, just find a church home. And everybody said the same thing. I ain't going to church, dog. I'm not doing that. So why you not going to church? And it surprised me. These are drug dealers, killers, Muslims. They knew all church gossip. I was surprised that they knew all the stuff that go on in church, right? So I was like, oh, wow. But then I flipped it. I was like, well, if you break your arm right now, where you going? They said, I'm going to the ER. I said, cool. In the ER, you got sick people that's in the ER. You got people that got pneumonia in the ER, AIDS in the ER, herpes in the ER, whatever case it be, like everything, a whole bunch of stuff in the ER right now. I said, are you going to leave the ER because there's sick people in there, or are you going to leave after you get your arm fixed? So no, we're going to leave after I get my arm fixed. I said, cool, that's a church. The church is full of sick people. We all was there to get our healing. That's it. You know what I mean? So a lot of my songs just came from like stories, like Charles said, and just hearing from God.
Like, James, what was that breakout song for you and why?
God is in control.
Oh my gosh.
I will. I guess that would be the breakout song.
Why do you think it hit?
And,
why do you think that song hit and resonated with people so much?
I don't know. When I wrote that song, I was sitting in Institutional Church of God in Christ. Bishop Carl Williams Sr. preached, God has it in control, that Sunday morning. So a lot of times I'm inspired by the preach word. And I went home and I was like, boy, Bishop preached that thing today. And that's God gave me the melody for God is in control. And the first thing I did was got like my close friends at that time we were singing with worship and praise. And I had invited them over my house. I want to try to hear this song I wrote. And I played it for them and they laughed at me. They said, this song is so foolish. I said, we were supposed to be just singing, God is in control over and over and over.
I know somebody that did that to me too. Go ahead, Jay.
It was like, God is in control. God is, we're going to just keep saying that over and over like that. I said, yeah. They said, James, you a fool. That's my singers told me that.
Right.
And the next week I said, well,
tell them
go right on
now.
I told him after we sung it. I went home and the next rehearsal I taught it, and in rehearsal they felt the whole difference of it in rehearsal. And then we did our anniversary. I don't think what anniversary that was. I think it was our 4th anniversary, and we sung that song, and it was like a bomb dropped in there. So that's when I knew the song was a hit.
Right.
It wasn't because I knew before. It was when we sung it. Then after that, everywhere we went, we had to sing God is in control. Then the proof was in the pudding. We did Bobby Jones. And that was the first time the world got to hear God is in control.
Shout out
after that.
Shout out to Stan Jones, who said from E1, who said, timeless joint. Also, shout out to our bishop who's on tonight, Dr. Kevin Bond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Kevin.
I'm gonna read his comment in 1 minute. He said, it's amazing how people don't believe what God has given you. It is important to know what you heard from God and go with it.
Yeah.
My God.
That's right.
Was that for you, Lonnie Hunter?
That's right.
For you. You had many as well. What was that song, that breakout song for you, and why do you feel it resonated?
You know, a lot of times the song that I wanted to be the breakout song was not. I
know about that.
I am still to this day trying to get through a concert with somebody without somebody asking for "Let's Dance," just to see dance, you know, this thing.
Yeah.
I don't, doesn't matter how long the concert is, if we don't do that, or if I don't do something with that in it, even me, the Drip Drop song, it's like somebody resonates to the energy of that thing. So if you can put whatever your draw is, put a message before it, so that when you get to your draw, the message is already foundation. Then it's time to party when it's time, you know, for all the hoopla. But I have to have given you a foundation first to get to the dance part.
Well, Winter Thompson, you need to ask that question again. I'm gonna see if maybe somebody is an interpreter here that can interpret this a little better. It said, how do you know who to get to sing the song you wrote if you are not singing it yourself?
I know for me, I write songs for my soloists. You know, I know their voice. And, you know, if God gives me a song, I hear it, their voice leading it. And I'd be like, they have to lead. Now, Tanisha Crispo is a prime example.
Right.
When I wrote, my mind is a little off. The first song I wrote for her, I didn't write it for her, I wrote it for somebody else. They sung it, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna work with Tanisha to sing this song. When she sung it, the whole vibe of the song became different. So then after that, I was able to write songs just for Tanisha Crispo. I knew what I was gonna get, how it was gonna be. Same thing with like all my soloists. Charles Perry. I knew Charlie could sing that song, He'll Make Things Better. That song wasn't written for Charlie. That was written for somebody else. Charlie, yeah, Michael Liverpool. But he didn't get, Michael Liverpool didn't record that song. We had that, a lot of my songs we doing today, we were doing them 20, 30 years ago. And they just, you know, are able to still work today, thank God. Good music has no time stamp on it.
I don't think so. It's a good song.
So true.
The test of times. Speaking of that, which we want to shift into right now, lasting the test of times. What does that mean to you, Chazz Shepard?
Lasting the test of times?
Yeah. How do you?
What does that be?
Yeah, what is that? It's annoying.
Now y'all got this beat going on. Who got that beat?
It's my live, and people are asking questions every 2 seconds. That's what's happening.
I got you.
It's on vibrate.
Okay.
But you were saying,
well, take it off. Put it on silent.
I can't.
Tell you are annoying tonight. My last Zoom with you.
Me too, Charlie. I'm done after this. Don't call me back.
On a Friday night at that.
Go ahead, Chazz. Don't let them.
Listen, I'm up for some commentary. These guys are hilarious.
I'm done. Don't see me on this Zoom no more.
All right. Okay. Lasting the test of times. All right. Well, of course, I can only go as far as I have gone so far. And I'm a simplest, man. I like to keep things straight and simple. That way I can apply it. And so I try not, I know, even though I sound deep sometimes, the deepness is really just the simplicity. And so for me, it is determination. T.D. Jakes loves to use the word tenacity. I am determined, and I have concluded that I will live my best life. I will do what is in me to do. And it's not based on how many people dig it. It's not based on if it's accepted, if it's part of protocol. It's not based on any of that.
That's right,
It's
Chazz.
based on,
That's right.
I am here to be me and to do what God put in me. It's that simple.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that means whatever the process is, whatever the journey is, I'm in for it. So it's not based on, you know,
Yes, sir.
how commercial, how popular I am. All of that stuff, to me, when you're living on purpose and you're living for what's in you, all of that goes out the window.
Sure
And so
does.
I'm lasting the test of time because I've decided that I will be faithful for all of the rest of my time. So I'm in it until not till the wheels, you know, start wiggling till they get flat. I'm in it till they fall off
completely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you last. You don't last by a 1, 2, 3 step. It is a determination that you're going to stay in it. I remember this one song that is my jam by this dude. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, especially in gospel. You may have never heard of Andre Crouch, but in his earlier days,
That's the father. One of the fathers. That's one of the fathers.
you may have never heard of him, James. I don't know.
That's one of the fathers. He's one of the
telling you. I'm telling you, I know that's right. And he
That's
had a
right.
song called All the Way. I'm going all.
That's
Yo, that is one of my anthems. No
Watch
matter
yourself.
what tomorrow brings, I'm going all the. That's how you last the test of times, when it is based on God and you. It is not based on anybody else. Period.
I
You're
love it.
talking good.
I love it. This is good talk. Brothers, you know.
I have a question.
Go ahead. I was just getting ready to say that. I didn't have to be the only question.
Since he just brought up Andre Crouch, and all of us are on here, what do y'all think is the greatest Andre Crouch song?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough right there.
I'm gonna go with The Promise. That's just me.
Ooh, okay.
Lord. Lord.
That's tough right there, bro. That's a real question for real.
That's a good one though. The Promise, bro.
God be the glory.
It's not called To God Be. It's my tribute, right?
Yes.
My tribute.
Yeah.
Tribute. That's the greatest Andre Crouch song.
That's yeah.
Mm.
That's tough right there. That's a good one.
Lonnie, how's it to you? Who is it?
Wait, Lonnie is saying something. What did you say?
Go ahead.
I'm always gravitated to Tata Vega's voice.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Whenever
sir.
people sing something, I'm good with that. She was the one that did Right Now, right?
Right now. That's right.
Yes.
Right now.
I gotta agree with Dr. Bond. Through It All is pretty
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I'm classic.
Yes, sir.
Through it all. Through it all.
Through it
Andre
all.
Crouch is, and you can't. We'll do this all night with Andre Crouch hits. Bro.
now. Listen,
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Andre Crouch.
Wait, if
What-
Andre
what
Crouch was still here, who could have battled him?
Oh my
Oh, come
God.
on.
The
I love that battle. I'm
Hawkins.
so sick of that battle.
The
I'm so sick of
Hawkins.
that battle and
The
stuff.
Hawkins. Yes, the Hawkins for sure.
What's the song?
Hawkins and
And but guess what? Check this out. You have to have two brothers to battle for Andre.
Bro.
What you say, Dolly?
Andre's in the hymnal. Like,
Yeah.
it don't get
That's true.
Yeah, he's in
That's
another
right.
category.
That's
That's right. He fighting him.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Like
What's the song when you go overseas? You gotta sing that song.
Oh, Happy Day.
You talking about Oh, Happy Day?
Oh, Happy Day.
Yeah, that's
baby.
Edwin.
Hey,
No,
Yeah.
no. It's a Andre Crouch. Didn't he write Sooner Very Soon?
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Going to see
Yeah.
the king, right?
That's it.
Oh, yes,
That's
sir.
it.
That's another
When
good one.
all of y'all know when
Yes,
you go
sir.
overseas, you got to sing that song. You better put it
You
in
gotta
your
got
set.
to.
Hey, that's for sure.
That and
what do
Oh
y'all
Happy
think?
Day. Those are two.
Jabari, what?
Mhm.
What do y'all think is the greatest Hawkins song?
Ooh.
Oh,
my
Happy
God.
Day.
That's
Change.
no.
It's too many. Too many.
Mm.
Too many.
Yeah, it's too
It's
many.
another
too
one that
many.
a choir used to sing.
I like Special Gift. I like Special Gift.
Special Gift is but number one for me, and the title is not coming to me.
That's mine.
It's the one that the girl sings.
Be grateful.
Do the song.
Through the storm.
I knew it.
Yes, sir. That is so
Sing some out.
good. Yes, sir.
I'm
Be
gonna go with
grateful.
Thank You,
Yo, and
Lord.
what's the other one? That Kind of Friend, Chazz. That's another
yes,
good one.
sir. Yes, sir.
That Kind of
Man.
Friend.
Yeah.
To this
Y'all
day.
making me.
That's
a
Jermaine.
little rock in here. I'm just thinking about all the songs.
So you messed around
It's-
now. You talk about choir music.
Jabari, you done messed us up in here tonight. You better
Thank you,
Y'all
Lord.
done brought my pressure down today.
listen. How do Dolly? You wasn't on here with us last time, So we got to ask you and Chris and Lonnie, what do you guys think about, and Wonderboy, what do you guys think about all this gospel battling right about now? Do y'all feel we should be doing any more of those things? What is y'all thought? What's y'all take on that?
Who else battling?
There is no battles. It's only Bishop and John McGee did it. Nobody else is doing it, right?
Well, Kirk,
not in gospel.
well, Kirk
Yeah.
said,
Whose phone is that?
Who's saying gonna be the first one?
Whose phone is that?
that's Jermaine Dolly's phone.
I was being good all night.
Well, Trevone,
Go ahead.
you know, I look at it from the business aspect. Now, you know who my daddy is. I'm always trying to sell a CD. I'm trying to sell product. So to me, I think it's great because it boosts whoever that artist. It boosts
everybody
streaming.
followers significantly. That's true.
It boosts their streaming. It boosts they sales. You know, digital sales and everything. So I love it.
But do you think that more gospel artists should do it?
Yeah, it just need to be professionally done. That's what I say.
I want to see.
Right.
I want to see Keith and the Cantons go. Let's go.
Oh, we working on it. We working on it. I'm working on something, Doc.
That's
a good one.
I'm working on something, but it really can't be a battle because you know what I'm saying. That's one of my teachers. Harvey and Joe Lagarde was my teachers. So, but I just want to stop for 1 second. Jabari and Jermaine Dolly. Did y'all heard that? I would like to spell his grown name, but y'all heard Charlie used to sing in my group, right?
Sure did. Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did, King.
That was a wonderful.
You ain't hear that, Jabari?
Look at Jabari's face.
Yeah.
Charlie, I had Charlie.
I'm thinking about it now, and I remember it.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey,
Crazy.
King, it used to be me, you, and Spanky and Will. Me, you, and Spanky and Will. Yes, sir.
Wait, ain't Spanky doing R&B?
Jesus keeps on blessing me, King.
What you said, Trayvon?
Yes, sir.
I think Spanky's
Yes,
doing
sir.
R&B now. He's doing the sex music that Dolly was talking about.
Okay.
What?
Wait.
We're gonna get off of that. We're gonna leave it alone.
No.
Trayvon. Leave it alone, Trayvon.
He didn't call
I
it sex
told
music.
y'all.
He called it sexy music.
Hey, y'all remember?
Sexy music.
I told
I heard
her I had
sex
to tell it.
No,
I had
he
to
said
tell the
sexy
secret.
music.
Sexy music.
I had to tell a secret, Javon. Ted is my witness. I had to tell it. That's Spanky that made the pimpin' egg. That's not me.
True.
That's Spanky.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Jabari.
Oh, look at Jabari showing you.
Yeah, all right, Jabari.
Yo, that was my jam, bro. That AQ was a jam, bro. Especially when y'all did that rock to the side, yo.
Yeah.
Me and my brother used to wear
I'm
that
telling you,
out,
man.
bro.
We couldn't handle it when Charlie was in our group, Doc. That's one thing, like you said. With the,
Charlie, Dr. Bond said Charlie used to sing with me too before he went off to Disney.
I know he said it.
That's why Dr. Bond. Tell it, Dr.
No, he said it. I know he said that.
That's it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yo,
Those would listen. We would go on the road.
Levites. They don't know about our
Right.
James, you better tell them.
James,
the Levites.
tell them about the Levites.
It's gonna be reunion time for all of us soon.
Yeah.
I think we need a reunion album in the making.
We got it.
guys, quick question. Somebody said James Hall, Winter Thompson said, James Hall, thank you for your contribution to music down through the years. We appreciate
Thank you.
James,
Sir. Beautiful.
Well, you can answer that. Go ahead, James. You want to thank her?
Wait.
You said thank you for your contribution to the
And I said thank you so much. Now, what you say? You want me to thank her too? Wait. What'd you say?
Winter Thompson, you're the one who said it.
Yeah, and I said, oh my God, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Now, what else you want me to do?
Sing our song. Go to that piano. Do something for her right now.
Oh no! This is how we get to 3. This is how we be on here 4 hours. We ain't doing this tonight.
4 hours.
James,
that's sorry. No 4 hours tonight.
4 hours tonight.
James,
Y'all
just
won't
one
get me
song.
tonight.
Just one song.
Just
No,
one,
this is.
nobody wants
We got
to
all these talented people on this thing.
So in this climate,
Everybody have to do a song.
in this climate, Dolly touched on this. Everybody's just releasing music and putting music out there. What kind of music should we be putting in this climate right now, Lonnie Hunter?
Jesus music, because you don't sing everything well. So you do what you do and do it well and make it have an impact by what you say, and don't worry about what everybody else is putting out. If it's good music, it's good music. If it's Jesus music, if it's good news, it's good news. Because as soon as even though I can sing a falsetto, as soon as I try to sing a Dolly song on a stage, I'm going to die. I'm going to literally, because that's not my joint, you know what I'm saying? But I can go and appreciate him for bringing it because it's still good news, and whoever gravitates to that, they win. So it's all win-win. So that's what we should be putting out. All God music.
Yeah, very good. Now that's the words of a pro. What we call that's words coming a pro. Just like, you know, but he don't want to admit it. To me, Lonnie Hunter is one of the gatekeepers. Now, if he know you personally, if you come around him, people like Lonnie Hunter, James Hall, all of them. They're gonna say something to you if you ain't right. Believe that.
Well,
especially if they know you.
Them gatekeepers been holding me down for years. I ain't no gatekeeper. I tell you, ain't no gatekeeper. Me.
Right. Y'all, no. But for real though,
I can tell you ain't no gatekeeper.
I can't do this. Okay.
James Hall, and Lonnie
I ain't no gatekeeper.
Nope. James Hall and Lonnie.
James is a shifter.
But you know what? I think Lonnie is
a gatekeeper. Nope.
Lonnie, you gotta agree with that because you got a TV show that thousands and thousands of people watch. Don't you have the ability to expose people? What do you feel about people calling you a gatekeeper?
Oh, this is the first time it's ever happened. I ain't never heard that before. This is new to me.
I ain't never heard it before because I know it ain't true for me. That's why.
But if gatekeeper means somebody who is trying to encourage people to be their best selves, then call me that. Because I am not a person that will tell you that was great if it was not great. But the other part of that is I'm not going to tell you nothing if you have not asked me. So you have to ask me, how did you feel about that? And you have to finesse that so that when they leave from your presence, they ask you because of some kind of respect they have for what you do. So give them something that they can go and learn and grow from. Don't just say, "Oh, Doc, you killed," and no good and well they didn't.
Well, I'm gonna sing you my song because I know you're gonna tell the truth. So cool.
James James Hall, being a gatekeeper is not just. See, you talking about the negative part of that. Sometimes is because
that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, we know some gatekeepers. Yeah, they try to put their foot on you. But I'm talking about where people value your opinion. You know what I'm saying? To me, with certain people, I always say opinion is just like a butthole. Everybody got one, and sometimes it's full of you know what it's full of. But my main thing is people, I'm just giving you straight up. We all come up together, we all work together. And it's certain people for you. Yeah, it's certain people opinion that I listen to, whether it's my music and even fashion. From on, come on, don't get Hunter on me, Lonnie. Now Lonnie Hunter will get you straight all the way around. Like, Doc, that tie ain't right. That tie ain't right with that outfit.
Hold on. People in the chat, please forgive me if I don't get to your questions because y'all see what's happening, okay?
Yeah, but Trey, listen,
hold on. So shout out to Lillian J. Lloyd, who says she loves everybody in this room tonight.
Lillian. Hey.
You're a beast.
Love you, Lillian.
Love.
Dr. Barnes says tonight, be careful of those who are at the gate and make sure that you have integrity. Open gates so no one else can get in.
I didn't hear the last part.
Dr. Barnes said, be careful that those who are at the gate have integrity and want to help people. People can open and shut them too, so no one else can get in.
It's true.
I think that's what Keith was referring to when he was using the definition of gatekeeper as opposed to the other definition that we were using earlier in the conference. I think Keith was talking about that part.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
Right.
But like for y'all, like, you know, for all the artists that's on this line, you know what I'm saying? All of you guys work hard at your craft and work hard at what you do. What about the artists who feel like they can pay to get to where they want to go?
They do pay to get, and they get
Right. It's a long list of them failures. It's a long list.
No, because there's some that feel like, you know, well, as long as I got my bread, I'm there, I'm good.
Nah.
Yeah, well, some people have paid. Some people have paid and got places, but still no one knows their name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got in the game. They got in the game.
People pay for nominations all the time.
They got on the stage. They got they got here and there, and you call their name, nobody know who they are.
No. Right. I've been sitting next to one, quote unquote, at the Stellars, and they paid their way. They paid for the radio announcers. They paid to get on the stage. So they did. At that time, they was doing everything that I thought I wanted to do. They performed on the Stellars. They even won.
Wow. Isn't how it's
they won tonight. But they told me they didn't have no dates. They didn't have no dates.
No dates. No dates.
Oh my God.
Y'all are cruel.
Okay,
I know.
But there's some of them that feel like that.
I got the truth. I like the truth.
I got to give Jermaine Dolly his flowers where I can smell them. Camille Alexander said, "Thank you, Jermaine Dolly. Your song pulling us through is getting us through this pandemic."
Amazing record.
I didn't know you wrote that.
Dive in glory, man.
That's him singing on it.
Huh.
Didn't you feature?
You know, my LA spot, West Angeles, is how I found out about that song.
Oh man, wow, that's dope. Praise God.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And I didn't know. I just said,
look at you, Dolly. Look at you, Dolly.
Look at you, Dolly.
Look at you, Dolly.
Look at you, Dolly. Look at you, Dolly.
Don't you worry about those gatekeepers, Dolly.
Dolly, don't you worry about those gatekeepers. Look at these people acknowledging you tonight.
You in California, Dolly.
All the way in Cali.
It's not about me worrying about the gatekeepers. Like, I've been past that stage. I would just letting people that's listening out here that know, like, it wasn't more so, I wasn't trying to put emphasis on the gatekeeper. I was really trying to put emphasis on knowing what your assignment is. So when gatekeepers do come, where they will come, you won't get discouraged. Because a lot of people that they talking to me, they in my DM saying like, yo, I'm being blocked. I'm doing this, boom, 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 boom. And because they went in thinking, just as I did, that I want to go number one. I want to sell units. This. I want to get awards. I want to get that. And when those wasn't coming, I will get discouraged. But good thing, like we talked about earlier, prayer and being in your word.
That's right.
Hear from God. And God had to check me. He was like, bro, I don't need you to fit in with people. I don't need you to get awards. That's the accolade part. You're missing out on what my assignment is. Yes,
come on here.
In every business.
Come on, Dolly.
Not just the gospel industry.
Come on up through here.
But if you're not in your word, you're not in your prayer. Like earlier, we talked about how our gifts will make room. Our gifts will make room, right? Check this out. Out of that is this: we get in that room, right? Now that room is hollow because we done made room now. So a lot of people don't have nothing to fill up that room. You move in a house and you don't have no furniture in that house, you're gonna hear echoes, or you're gonna get scared in that room. Like, okay, whoa, what's going on? I hear echo. What's that noise? And then you run. That's how some of us. That's how some of people. The new generation coming in with their gifts is making room for them, right? So now they're in a room with nothing in it. It's a hollow room. So now they're like, how do I fill up this room? But your assignment, your anointing, being in your word, being in your prayer, that's your furniture. Now you can get comfortable in your room that your gift has just made room for. That was my only reason I bring the gate.
So you see, that's why we had to come back to this. So you had, because you didn't get to say that before.
Right.
That was what was needed.
Right.
That was what was needed.
Look at him, Dolly.
I'm going to get
Right.
He did a rap around. That was a boomerang word tonight.
That's the part. That's the part we needed from earlier.
That's the part. Glory. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, children.
Because I see a lot of artists that are writing in the chat right now. A lot of up and coming, a lot of independent artists. I see you guys. I'm with you. You be rocking out. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Much love to you. But
Amen.
we gotta be real too. At the same time, Jabari knows this, Dolly knows this. Like, ain't nobody that's not on this joint tonight that don't know this.
Let's don't say names then.
I'm not saying any names. But there is, once again, this ties back into the business aspect of things.
Right.
There is a cost to your grind. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But know this, no investment in yourself is a bad investment. You know?
Right.
You better believe
You
it.
want to know how people are in the top 20, the top 10. For sales, that's different. But for radio play, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You need the machine in, or you need to become the machine.
Right.
How
Exactly.
important is it to know that business side, Lonnie, because you in radio with me, and Dolly, you in radio as well. How is it important to know that business side, take time out to invest?
Your investment, when you don't know what you're doing, will go to the wrong person.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah.
Many times when you go through these conferences and you get new artists and they're giving you their new CDs and all of that, if you are on a radio station that's an actual business, that person that's on the air is not the person that's picking the music that's being played.
That's right.
So because you hear them all the time, you feel like, oh, I gave my stuff to Jermaine Dolly and he's gonna play it. If he is not the program director or you know that kind of thing, he is playing what's on the computer screen that's already been set.
I had to learn that. I had to learn that because I used to give Lonnie a whole bunch of feedback.
Me too.
Right.
Pete, I'm glad you said, hey, Lonnie, I did not know. I did not know at the time, right? So Lonnie was in Philly, right? So when you came out, to me, underground, you was going off. Like, it was going off, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm creating a buzz. All right, I'm going to my radio station, like, yo. So I'm hitting, like, Lonnie, play the song. Like, yo, you on the radio, play the song. Like, I can't play it. Me, I'm like, yo, Lonnie hating, dog. I'm honest. Like, I used to think that, like, yo, Lonnie hating, y'all. He hating on me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
And then,
Real. That's real though.
And so what?
That's real talk.
Yeah, it is.
That's honest.
I had to get out on the road and do radio run.
Yeah.
Like, cause you know, I'm independent. So I don't got nobody backing me. So I had to go on the road. Like, man, so then I learned, oh, Lonnie, this is a pro. And now I work in radio now, like the same company. Like, so, oh, Lonnie wasn't hating. He really got to follow.
Right.
Like, you just playing what's on the screen. That is it. Like, you know, the program, the record. So, Lonnie, I never told you this. I want to publicly say sorry. Because I just thought you was a hater. My first year, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. My first year, like,
that's honest.
No lie.
Yeah, that's real.
How everything I got started for me, I'm just hitting the road, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm like, the city won't even play me. That's crazy. I was irked with everybody of Philly Radio One. Irked with everybody. It wasn't just you. I thought CC McGee was a hater. I thought everybody was a hater, right? Like up there, right? So I'm like, I'm not playing myself. All y'all some haters.
Saying these names.
So check this out.
What you do it.
What you do it. This is an honest story. No lie. What I did was I had a following on Instagram. Let's go back to followings.
Mm-hmm.
I had a following on Instagram. I told everybody at the radio station, at them, and tell them to play my song. So I got Muslim friends. I got hood friends. If you don't play Jermaine Dolly, I'll be going boom, 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 boom. We going. They had to call me and tell them to stop. Like, yo, y'all drawing on our website. Like, you have to tell your people to stop. So I'm like, no, play the song, because I was just in my feelings, right? So it took me going on the road, right? I went down to Willie Moore Jr., right? And what's funny is, they called me down as a comedian. This also ties into, you gotta know what your audience is as well. I know, like, take avenues. I'm also a comedian, so I use that as well to keep viewers tuned in, whatever the case may be, right? So I go down there, they call me down as a comedian. I had a song, I had a youth at the time. So when I let them hear you, Big Mad, Crystal Lee, and Willie hated the song. They didn't like it at all, right? So we go on.
Haters.
Willie saw me perform at JJ Harrison Church. He saw me minister at JJ Harrison Church. He saw me sing You Live. He was like, yo, I gotta play this song. I have to play this song. So then it went back. See, he played it, and then it was Darlene McCoy show. But the program director had to be the one to put it in. So then after that, I had to go to the Stellar Wars one year. It was like an all-white party, and I sang there. And a guy pulled me to the side like, "Hey, I've been looking for you. I've been seeing your song get a lot of traction on Vacation Day." And I walked off, and the girl pulled me to the side. She's like, "Do you know who you was talking to?" I was like, "No, who's that?" She said, "It's Jerry Smith." Jerry Smith at the time was a vice president of programming up at Radio One. So that's how I found out that, you know, like, so if you're reaching out to like people that's on air, if they're not the programmer, it took me a year and a half to figure this out. If they're not the program director, they're not the one. Like, some people have leeway. Now they got some people that have, but like if you're working for like an iHeart or a Radio One, you're not that bull. You don't have no type of say so on playing a song.
Let me tag in on that. This is what they're saying is very true. Those of you that are tuning in, I see the questions we get into them right now. Martin,
sorry, I'm so sorry, Lonnie.
I forgive you. I forgive you.
It's a real moment.
But it's real. And people need, artists that are watching, please know the difference between getting a spin and being added. There's a difference. I can play you on my show. Lonnie can play you on his show. Well, I don't know if he has the liberty to. I don't know if Dolly do. But I know in some places they have the liberty to play you on their show, but it will not get added into rotation unless the program director.
Let me say this too. Let me say this as well too. Make sure your songs are registered.
Right. And encoded.
Encoded.
I don't know that.
Like, because if you got a song that's not coded, if it get played on the radio, you're not getting no kind of.
And you're not going to report to Billboard.
It's not going to report at all.
Right.
You have to get your songs coded, report like BMI, ASCAP, whatever it is that you do. But you have to have recorded. You have to have registered stuff, and also mixes too. I do know people that bring songs to program directors and with terrible mixes, they're not playing.
They're not mixed properly.
They're not mastered properly. Also, if your song too long, they're not playing a 5-minute song.
No, you're a new artist. You have no business with a 5-minute song.
Like, you got a song, you got that.
That's right.
3-4. Nice, Trayvon.
I can do what I want, Trayvon.
5-minute song.
You can't stop me. You can't stop me, Trayvon.
They got a 5-minute song on their record. They can't won't be
My
on the radio.
new single is 33 minutes and 28 seconds.
Try and I'm gonna play it.
James, my new single is 33 minutes and 53 seconds.
I'm gonna tell y'all this much, and this is important, because there's a lot of artists on here, and this whole thing is to help people and help artists. Listen, there is a difference between people get their song registered with BMI and they get registered with ASCAP, and then they send it to you and they like, my song is registered. Why am I not reporting to Billboard? There's a difference between getting your song registered to BMI and ASCAP and then your song being properly encoded into Nielsen BDS data system. That's the way it gets reported to Billboard. The way you get paid is when you associate and register with BMI and or ASCAP. There's a difference.
If you're the songwriter.
If you're
that too.
If you're a songwriter,
let's not forget that part.
Yeah.
Clear that up.
Artists, if you're not writing your music, the person who writes the music will reap the benefits.
Get the money.
You got a writer side and you got a publisher side.
Amen.
Yeah.
Some people get both sides.
Right.
James.
Amen. Amen.
Some of these thieves, these old disrespectful thieves.
Now, this is good to talk about. This is good to talk about because the writers and the publishers.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do your business, but how important is it to? I think you should have that stuff straight from the beginning.
For sure.
But when you're moving, it's because people don't understand. If there's a difference between you writing a song, and then sometimes people who put music to your song feel like they earn credit to it. What do you say to that, Lonnie, as well?
A conversation has to be
a good one.
Conversation has to be had.
Yes.
If you have a conversation with that person and you decide what's going to happen with how this song is going to be presented, before it's presented, then you're good. But if you have your decision on what you're doing and you never say it to the person that put the music to it, because without the music to it, there is no song. So some of that, and that's up to you and them. How are you going to split this up? But a lot of people do that, and then they put it out, and then they only say, "I wrote it." But all you can do is do it.
Y'all gotta know splits. Y'all gotta know splits.
Gotta figure out what the split is going to be, and whatever that is that works for you, it works for you. Some people say, if I wrote it. I don't want to share with nobody, and that's.
For those
and have contracts for everything.
They didn't write it. They wrote the part they wrote.
But let me tell you, many people don't understand this. When it comes to copywriting and or arranging song, there's a difference between arrangements. There's a difference between writer, and then there's a difference between you putting music to it. You putting music to it, you really don't deserve writer's credit, because writing is for write the words and the melody of the song, which means you already came to your musician with the drawn out of how the song gonna go, and boom, the musician played and created with you.
Are the chords part of that? Because when you look, I mean, of course times are changing, but if you go into the history of the music business and what the standard splits were, there were standards. You can do whatever you want, but there were standards, and it was always considered that the chords, you know what I mean, was actually part of the music. So you had splits for melody and for lyrics, and for the music as well as part of the writing. So if somebody brings you and says, I wrote the song, and goes da 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 da, and they want somebody to literally put not arrangement, but put what the music is, what the chords are, that is now part of writing the song.
Let me tell you what that's called. That's called a composer.
I'm talking about the ones who create the chords.
Oh,
not the ones who, if they say I don't play and I don't produce, I need somebody to produce it. That's what Quincy Jones did with Thriller and Bad and Off the Wall. That's composing, and that's producing chords already written. But if I am writing the music, which is actually the sound of the song, and you may have written the melody and the lyrics, it is still a combining. But if I'm just arranging something you already wrote, like these are the chords, and you put all the fancy stuff to it, then that is different. That is arranging. And, and producing is a whole nother thing.
Right.
But as far as writing, notes are what's written, and just the melody, that's not the only note of the song.
What you just said was key. I'm glad you brought up Quincy Jones. The way it works for gospel and the way it works for secular is different. Normally in a secular arena, the track is already together, you're writing to it. That's a producer.
Or vice versa. Yeah.
He gets producing credit. When you're in church, you're normally coming to the choir or your group, boom, 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 here's the song. The band starts playing and picking up off of your vibe. That's different as opposed to a beat that's already done and you're writing to. You don't get writing credit because you help make up music. But if the artist has integrity, in most cases, they will cut you in on the deal.
Not me.
I'm about to say you can have all the lack of integrity you want. You don't get a call if I write music.
I'm saying wrong. You don't have to, but you have some artists who do that because they like the camaraderie of the band, of their group, and they don't want to mess up that chemistry. And a lot of people have left people groups and not working with people to this day because of things like that.
That's true.
This is why we got to.
That's true.
I'm going to go back to Lonnie. He said you got to have a conversation, and that's that.
Right.
I know one thing. It's almost 10:30. I know that. That's one thing I know. That's one thing I know. It's almost 10:30.
It's almost 10:30.
Put some music to that.
All right. Well, put some music to that. Let's see who's gonna get paid on that one.
Well, you wrote it, James. That's your song. If you want to cut us in, you're more than welcome.
Well, you know what? You could do whatever you want to do. Just
I'm going right back to Lonnie. We have to have a
conversation.
It'll clear all of that up.
Contracts.
Yeah.
All right. People leaving.
People leaving. Yeah.
People leaving in this thing. These boxes are getting empty.
Right.
Oh God.
Because I owe somebody.
Yo.
Anyway, moving on.
People are leaving.
Get out of here. Listen, this has been fun. There's
Yes.
some questions in the chat. Obviously, we probably won't get to them.
Yes.
Y'all want to answer some of them?
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
People, all 89 of y'all watching right now, James Hall doesn't mean it. We're sorry.
He's like, I do though.
Yeah.
He won't answer your questions.
He mean every word of it.
Just hit him in the DM, and hopefully he answers because he don't run his own page.
James got to go take communion right now.
I have to eat. Y'all been eating.
Right.
Y'all been eating all through the thing.
Jabari been eating.
Uber Eats. Uber Eats.
That's true.
He ordered from Uber Eats.
Onion rings and everything.
The only one that
What's that green bottle?
Lonnie was he had dinner before he came on here. Lonnie, you should have told
This is
me
great
to eat before.
grapefruit soda.
I
I'm
did too.
about to
I
go
ate
eat
before
dessert
this.
now, so
See? Lonnie done ate dessert.
Lonnie, you said what?
I'm about to
He
go
gonna eat
eat
his dessert.
dessert now.
You don't need to eat dessert at this hour. We love you though, Lonnie.
You don't need to eat dessert.
Right.
Don't discourage
You've
Lonnie
been
Trevone.
working out, so you deserve you a little slice of
James.
Trevone, you're so disrespectful.
I love it. But anyway,
I'll tell y'all one thing. This is my last Zoom with y'all. I can tell y'all that.
It's your
My last
I
Zoom.
said
I want to tell everybody
when I
here.
was-
I hope you enjoy
when I
me
was trying to
because
get
I
on.
won't be back,
I said-
Jimmy Hall. I won't be
I
back.
said that when I was trying to get on. I said they don't have to worry about me no more.
y'all are some fools. This is why we can't get out here because this is all they do is play all day. But anyway, I love each and every one.
Lonnie said I'm out.
Right.
He left? He left already? Oh, he left. Yo, he left already.
Lonnie said I'm out. Y'all
I'm
got
gonna do,
Yo,
I'm
he
gonna do
left
just like
already.
he did. I'm gonna do just like I see me.
I'm going to do just like Lonnie.
Yeah.
I'm going to do
I'm not
like
gonna say-
Lonnie.
No, I'm
Good
not gonna say
night.
no more
Jabari.
bye.
I thought
night.
Jabari was supposed to be first.
Yeah, Jabari was saying he was going
Oh,
out.
Jabari could hear me, but you
Jabari
can't
left.
see me because
Yeah.
I done
Jabari
disappeared like a
Like how
magician.
we leave out just go out
Yo.
the door. They're
Yeah.
like, okay.
Trayvon, you got to pull the plug on this. People leaving.
Oh,
I
that's
cannot.
hilarious.
Anyway, guys, I thank y'all so much for tuning in with us tonight, all of Hands Up Radio Show family. And thank you guys for all the support and love. Shout out to the guests that we have left: Dolly, Chazz Shepard, Charles Perry, Christopher Wynn, and D. James Hall.
Hey, let's let them know where they can find us. Let's do our little
That's
promotion.
right. That's
With
right.
Me, I'm an Instagrammer. I know we on Facebook, but I'm an Instagrammer. At Handsome Chazz. I don't know. The Lord told me I was handsome, and I believe it.
Right.
Yeah,
Come on now. Come
He said,
on now.
I believe God. I believe God. That's all.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Oh, my
That's
God.
But at Handsome Chazz, and I also when we're not doing this on Mondays and Wednesdays, I have something I'm just doing for fun. It's called Chazzology, where we just get on, and those who like to talk about subjects and think a little bit, we just get on for about an hour and a half and have some good conversation. I always put it up live, but just go on at Handsome Chazz and you'll see what's going on. You'll see me clowning.
Hey, y'all.
Nice.
Where to get you at, James?
I'm James Jazzy Hall on Instagram. James Jazzy Hall on Twitter. Everything is James Jazzy Hall except on Facebook is James Hall. And then I have that's it.
And I am James' biggest fan. I want everybody to know he
Oh,
knows it.
Chazz.
I am his biggest fan. He is always the star if he is in the room, as far as I'm concerned. And even other people who I'm like the hugest fan of, I won't say, but I will say they have been heavily influenced by him. So Charles, that means I'm a fan of yours too, because it all goes together.
I'm a fan of Charlie Perry too. Wait a minute. Where's Keith Wonderboy? He been left.
He left. He left a long time ago.
Keith is doing Uber Eats, James. He's doing Uber Eats.
Uber Eats.
Time for us to go.
Okay.
Yo.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. It's time to go. We've been on here too long. Seriously.
Uber Eats.
Martin Christie, I gotta say this because Martin Christie was saying in the chat 18 times tonight. He said James are actually one of the gatekeepers of New York. Martin Christie.
That's right.
But anyway,
living
legend. That's right.
Dolly, I am not. Listen to me, Dolly. I am not.
Oh, you the man up there.
I am not.
You the man.
James, accept it, don't reject it.
Man, I'm just, you are a man, bro. You a man.
Oh my God.
Period.
Oh my God. Dolly, tell us where they can find you at, Dolly. And I shout out to Dolly. Yo, this dude got a Morgan Freeman commercial going on his page right now. You gotta go check it out. He's
What?
voice. It's
Well, I'm going to check it out after this.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
go
talking?
check that out.
We worried about the gatekeepers, boy. Please.
Right.
Now,
Right.
me on Instagram at hello_Dolly24, hello_Dolly24. On Facebook and Twitter is Jermaine Dolly. All the accounts are verified. So if somebody is in your DM asking y'all for money, it is not me.
Yeah.
But if y'all want to give me money, my cash app is $Jermaine Dolly. All right.
24.
hello_Dolly24. Yep.
We giving out cash app.
You doing cash app?
No, wait.
Put on cash app now.
Yeah, $ Winn Big 34.
Hey, tell them where they can find you at, Charlie. And do you what if any of you guys got something coming up, please state that.
Listen, you could find me at The Charles Perry on Facebook and The Charles Perry on Instagram. And if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, you can join me next week, Friday and Saturday. I'm excited about don't do that. Y'all making me nervous. Don't do that. Seriously.
Nervous.
Listen, you find me in Atlanta, Georgia for the vocal master class.
That's next week.
Don't do that.
Next week, James. Next week.
I want to say
I'm gonna see if I can get one of them
next
cheap
Friday
tickets to
and
Atlanta.
Saturday.
I'm gonna come down there and see what's going on.
I want to say
we all
this.
gonna
It
go.
was an honor to be here with these young icons and legends. To Professor James Hall, Chazz Shepard, Jermaine Dolly. I'm a fan of everyone here. Christopher Wynn.
Me too.
To Keith Wonderboy.
You're a
and
fan
to
of Christopher
Jabari,
Wynn?
all of these amazing. Yeah, I am a fan of his first 2 records that came out.
James,
Okay.
what's wrong with that, James?
Nothing.
And to
Nothing's
Pucci,
wrong with it. He likes your first 2 records.
We love you. Yeah, I got Chris' first records on Malaco. When he was signed to Malaco.
Malaco.
You Chris Wynn. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sweet Rain. I thought you was on Sweet
Yeah.
Rain that first project, Chris.
No, James. He
I
was
had to
on
transfer.
Vectron. He was
Money
on
problem.
Vectron.
Vectron.
I had a,
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Vectron.
Jermaine Dolly, this is my real family. This
Oh,
is how
my
we act
God.
crazy like this. But
I'm
you
with it.
crazy.
We do this, yo, Jermaine. We do this. We do this every time we on the phone. We family.
This is how we go.
I
Chazz,
don't know. They talk about I ain't never been on the phone with
We
them.
do this.
I ain't
We do
never-
this.
I
I ain't never been on the phone
Dolly,
with them. They don't
Dolly,
have my number.
Dolly,
every
time we on the phone.
This is what
I don't
we
give
do.
out my number, Dolly.
Yeah.
This is what we do, Dolly.
These guys do not have my phone number.
Dolly, we family. This is all we do
That's
when we
why
get
they
on the
couldn't.
phone.
That's why they couldn't get me on this Zoom in the beginning. They don't have my number.
Oh my
But
God.
Christopher Wynn, tell them where they can find you at.
Win Big Management everywhere. Christopher Wynn on Facebook. And we just all getting together. We going on a.
Thank you, Reverend.
Oh, the clients I represent: Lillian Lloyd, Trevone Perry, Javis Mays, and Zach Williams out of Philly.
Dope.
Who's nominated for a
yeah.
Stella? Shout out to Zach.
And who's nominated for a Stella actually this year. Yeah.
Woo.
Man.
So
They having a
congrats.
Stellas this year?
So congrats to him.
Ain't canceled yet.
As of now, it's supposed to be in August, but we'll see if they still doing that. I don't
Ain't
know.
canceled it yet.
They didn't
Oh,
cancel
okay.
it yet. But we, I mean,
Leave it up to
if they-
Trump.
now-
You will be
now
having
let me
the
ask you-
awards.
now, if they do have the Stella, do y'all, let me tell you something.
Right, Chad. Don't worry.
Oh, my
Ask Trump. Trump said y'all gonna have the Stellas.
Donald's got you covered.
Now-
Open back up. I don't care what it
Now,
costs.
if they have the Stellas, do y'all feel comfortable going?
Yes.
Nope.
Who don't feel comfortable going?
Y'all trying to keep this Zoom going? Y'all try to keep this Zoom going,
No,
right?
I'm just asking. I just want to
We're trying
know.
to keep this Zoom
I just want to
going.
know.
We're doing whatever it
People are
takes.
outside. People are
I'm going wherever I want to go.
No, that's true. They should do it.
outside.
Everybody else is outside.
Grocery, we go
They
to
shouldn't cancel the Stellas.
No.
the grocery store. We go to
They
the
shouldn't cancel.
Target. We go.
Yeah, how you can go to Target and you can't go nowhere else?
Well, I'm not touching nobody. I'm not tapping nobody up.
And let me tell you something. I've seen. I don't want to put nobody's city out, but I went to a city not
Atlanta.
long ago. Them people out there ain't got no masks on, and they everywhere. And it ain't
Everywhere.
far from
I
there.
don't
That's
trust
what I'm
that.
saying.
I don't trust that.
I don't trust it either, but I'm telling you what
I
they're
don't
doing.
trust that. Yeah.
I don't trust
And I'm telling you, because they're not telling you
trust
about
that.
the hundreds of thousands of people who were catching it and going home. They're only talking about the less
Right.
than 9%
Correct.
who dying
Correct.
because they was
Mhm.
already dying
Correct.
before they got it.
Correct. Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
I'm
Yeah,
ready
it's the truth.
to y'all tonight.
All right.
So yeah, I
That's
think
the
that we can
truth.
get together and praise him.
I don't think it's safe, Chazz.
No.
Oh boy, you're not gonna start
Yeah,
no
I
debate
don't
here,
think-
Trayvon.
I don't think
Let
it's-
this go.
Yeah.
James, it's not safe. Anyway,
Yes,
It's not, I'm not doing this with y'all tonight.
James, you want to play a little something for us? Go ahead.
Yeah, play something, James. Just one song. Just one song, James.
God be with you.
Come on.
God be,
Go ahead.
God be with
Yeah.
you until we meet.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's what I'm at.
That's
let
it?
that go. This.
No,
That's
that's
it.
it. What about
Nothing else?
Oh, man.
No. This ain't the James Saul show.
Oh, God, you know.
This ain't not the James Saul show. All right, God bless everybody.
All right.
It's great.
I want y'all to know
James,
Facebook.
James trying to go have dinner.
They got everybody.
Thank you.
James is trying to go have dinner. James hasn't eaten yet.
I'm not eating.
What about the clothes?
Trey,
No, but James, I ate
Before the
before this.
close,
You should have ate
James.
before
We're in
this.
church, just leave it alone.
oh no, I'm gonna
Nah,
eat. Don't worry.
ain't restaurants open in Jersey?
I gotta go.
What
My
restaurant?
accessoride is here, y'all. I gotta go. Accessoride is here for me.
That's right.
I gotta get on
Late at night.
accessoride, okay? I see y'all
Charlie, they-
babies later. I love you, babies, but I got to go.
Accessoride runs late at night, Charlie.
I'm out too, but Dolly, I'm with you.
Yo.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
All
y'all.
right, y'all. All right,
Love
y'all.
y'all. Good night. I can't. Chazz, thank you, bro. Thank all the rest of y'all. Love y'all.
Bless you, man.
All right, I love y'all, babies. Good night, babies.
Oh, I can't. I did everything. Love y'all.